Thursday, November 2nd, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including shots fired at teens on Halloween night in Trumbull, a warning for joggers in New Canaan. It's also Front Page Thursday, and later on, John Kovac joins me to preview those this week. Frank Renito will have a look at your forecast and a Nutmeg Sports update, and Donald Dang joins us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, a Trumbull homeowner may have fired a gun near some Bridgeport use about 9 p.m. on Halloween, according to police. Now, officers responding to a report of shots fired near Leffert Road found a group of youths running toward Unity Road. Now, the young people told police that someone was shooting a gun on Foster Avenue. Officers later found several empty handgun casings near the intersection of Leffert Road and Foster Avenue in the Nichols section of town. Now, police interviewed witnesses and residents and believe there was a dispute between those young people and a resident who fired the gun to scare the young people away while they may have been tampering with several parked vehicles in the area. Police are continuing to interview residents and collect evidence. They ask that anyone who has information to contact them at 203-261-3665. And Norwalk police are searching for a man who is believed to have jumped from the Yankee Doodle Bridge on I-95 Wednesday night. Police and Marine units are continuing to search the Norwalk River and Norwalk Harbor for the man who is presumed dead. Now, State Police Sergeant Eric Haglund said at approximately 11:11 p.m., Troop G responded to the area of the Yankee Doodle Bridge in Norwalk for a report of a person who had possibly jumped. Now, the Norwalk Police and Fire Departments, Westport Fire Department, and the U.S. Coast Guard attempted to locate the person, but have been unsuccessful. Additionally, members of the State Police dive team responded to search the river. Haglund said the search is active and will continue this morning. Now, there is a pedestrian walkway along the southbound lanes there. The identity of the person involved is being withheld at this time. According to police reports, the man's car was found in a nearby commuter parking lot, and his sneakers were found on the bridge. And New Canaan police are encouraging joggers to run in pairs on Waveney Park trails after a male tapped a female jogger on her shoulder and said inappropriate things, police say. Now, officers will be increasing patrols in all town parks as a result of the incident, according to police. Now, this happened on Tuesday, October 31st at approximately 5:40 p.m. A female jogger was approached by a male wearing a blue hoodie while she was running on the trails in Waveney Park. Now, police advised joggers to stay on the well-traveled areas as well as in pairs. The male suspect is described as a white male, approximately 5'8", with short blonde hair and black framed eyeglasses. At the time of the incident, he had an Under Armour logo on his chest, shorts, and running sneakers. Anyone with information about the suspect should contact the New Canaan Police Department at 203-594-3500. And the Ridgefield Fire Department had to extricate a female driver after her car struck a tree off of North Salem Road Wednesday afternoon. Now, the woman was transported to Danbury Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, this was less than 24 hours after fire crews had to extricate a 17-year-old teen on Nutmeg Ridge who got stuck underneath his car while trying to prevent it from rolling down a hill. You can get more at theridgefieldpress.com. And what turned out to be an inactive grenade found in a Milford home sent police and firefighters to the area of East Broadway and Shea Avenue Wednesday morning. Police spokesman Mike DeVito said a grenade was found in a Milford residence in that area. The Connecticut State Police bomb squad responded and confirmed it was not in working order. DeVito explained that a tenant had moved out and the landlord went in to clear the apartment and found a grenade left behind. Come to find out that the bottom was drilled out, so more or less it was a paperweight, according to DeVito. Milford police issued an advisory mid-morning asking people to stay clear of the area. Shortly after noon yesterday, the area was cleared and people were allowed to enter. And police in Groton, Connecticut are investigating after a 1-year-old child suffered a minor injury from a piece of metal that was hidden inside the wrapper of a candy bar gathered while trick-or-treating. Groton police say they received a call from the child's mother at about 10 p.m. Tuesday. The small, thin piece of metal was found inside the wrapper of a Snickers fun-sized candy bar. Police are trying to figure out the source of the candy. They have received only one complaint, but urged all parents to check their children's Halloween candy carefully and call police if they find anything suspicious or discard candy from unknown and untrusted sources. All right, taking a turn now, let's get a look at the forecast with Frank Renito. Frank.
All right, well, thank you, Kate. It's looking a little bit warmer out there now as we're going to have to put the jackets back away. A high around 70 to 72 degrees today. Mostly cloudy. We saw a couple morning showers that should clear out, and we'll just see overcast skies through the rest of the day. Cloudy and mild overnight. We could see some late areas of fog moving in before Friday morning. Fog continues on in the morning, should clear out by noon. Mostly cloudy again, and those warm conditions continue on. We're looking at temperatures in the low 70s again. It will start to cool down overnight tomorrow, though, on Friday. Temperatures falling into the low 40s, partly cloudy skies as we head into the weekend. And a little bit cooler again on Saturday. Temperatures in the low to mid 50s, a mix of sun and clouds during the day, with increasing cloud cover coming in the evening. Considerably cloudy overnight. We could see some passing showers carrying all the way through into Sunday morning, which is still up for debate, as we're going to see showers or just some periods of mist throughout Sunday. But we'll keep you up to date on that. For now, though, we go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, we're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Eng joins us to take a look back on this day in history. Frank will also have your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news, including some concerns about some drinking water in Ridgefield, coming up after this.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 3 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien, or in the Westport Medical Center at 323 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Go to coastalorthoct.com. Like them on Facebook.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And right now, during the summer clearance event, you'll find some of our best prices too. Like this lease on a 2017 Ram Quad Cab Express for $149 a month. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Richfield, PambyZone.com.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month here on the HAN network.
The leaves are changing, water temps dropping, and the sun is setting a little earlier each day. But there's still a lot of great boating, fishing, and coast time left before we see the first snow. And above all, remember, it's always summer at the Dock Shop. With loads of new fishing tackle and accessories, clothing, jewelry, and home decor, the Dock Shop is just what you need when you start to feel that New England autumn chill. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
Welcome back to this November 2nd edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and we're going to throw it over to Donald Eng now to take a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, it was a great moment in aviation history. Literally, it was a moment, maybe 2 or 3 at the very most. But first, we're going to go back to 1948. President Harry S. Truman defeats Governor Thomas Dewey in a huge upset. Polls had showed Truman way behind, and he had spent the week before the election on a marathon whistle-stop tour. Despite having been a U.S. Senator for a decade and having been made president when Franklin Roosevelt had died almost 4 years earlier, he portrayed himself as a Washington outsider. You didn't think that was a new tactic, did you? It's not. To 1959 now, sorry about that, quiz show scandals. 21 game show contestant Charles Van Doren admits to a congressional committee that he had been given questions and answers in advance. If you saw the movie and wondered how anyone knew the name of Paul Revere's horse, what can I tell you? Sometimes the things you see on TV aren't exactly real. Van Doren would lose his job as host of the Today Show and as an adjunct professor at Columbia. He's still alive and was listed as an adjunct professor at UConn as late as 2011. 1983, President Ronald Reagan signs a bill creating Martin Luther King Jr. Day, calls for a day celebrating King's life had begun almost immediately after his assassination, but had gone nowhere. Reagan himself had opposed such a holiday, but with the 1984 election season already begun, he changed his position and gave King an honor that until then had been reserved exclusively for George Washington, that is making his birthday a national holiday. Finally, now we go to 1947 in California for this.
And he said, we're going to fly. Set the flaps at about 15%. Those are things on the end of the wings, okay? 15%, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 90 knots. It's about 95 miles an hour. He's airborne, all right? Less than a minute, less than a mile. It never flew again. Didn't belong to Howard. So he went ahead, came back to the dock, and they looked, what were you thinking? What were you doing? Howard, well, it just got away from me, I'm sorry. I can't help it, it's what the airplane did. He did that, ladies, to prove that he had his reputation on the line. He had to prove that it would fly and it would work, but never flew again.
It's an amazing plane and an amazing tour guide. Designer Howard Hughes performs the maiden flight of the Hughes H-4 Hercules, the so-called Spruce Goose, on this day in 1947, the largest aircraft ever built at the time. Intended as a transatlantic transport and made of wood due to wartime restrictions on aluminum, despite its derisive nickname, it was built almost entirely out of birch, and though it never flew again, a full-time crew of up to 300 maintained it in flyable condition until Hughes' death 29 years later. That is your look back in history for today, November 2nd, and I'm Donald Ing.
Thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, high levels of copper were found in the drinking water of 220 homes on the west side of Ridgefield last week, that according to the Aquarian Water Company. Now, in a notice to homeowners sent out last week, Aquarian said water tests revealed copper levels of 1.35 milligrams per liter. That's 0.5 milligrams higher than the level allowed by the EPA. Now, Peter Fazekas, Aquarian's Director of Media Relations, said there were 15 streets with homes affected by the copper levels. The notice states that higher levels of copper can cause gastrointestinal distress in some people, and over several years, high levels of copper in drinking water can also cause kidney or liver damage. The notice states that people with a genetic intolerance for copper or who have Wilson's disease should consult their personal physician. Aquarian said it would be installing new equipment to improve corrosion control at the Oskaleta well field. You can see a full list of the streets affected at theridgefieldpress.com. And after surpassing his goal of raising $250,000 to qualify his gubernatorial campaign for public financing from the state, Shelton Mayor Mark Loretti said the time he spends between now and Election Day will go toward making sure his team gets elected or re-elected on November 7th. Now, for the first time in 26 years in office, Loretti has no opponent in the city's mayoral race. But if one were to take a drive around Shelton, it would appear as if it's any other municipal election season. Team Loretti signs can be seen in residents' front yards all across town, and the mayor explained that it's because he is, in fact, still running a race. Loretti said his race this year is against all the people who doubt him. You can get more on that story at SheltonHerald.com. And the offices of the Reading Town Clerk and the Registrar of Voters are working together to restock the Reading Food Pantry. Now, this is the time of year when food pantry supplies are low, and it's hoping to fill the shelves once again. Those who are coming to the town hall to register to vote or apply for an absentee ballot, as well as those who are going to the community center to vote on Election Day, are asked to consider bringing an item from the list to donate. Now, boxes for donation are available at Town Hall and the Reading Community Center. There is a full list of the items needed at thereadingpilot.com, and there's also a large freezer at the Reading Community Center, and donations of frozen fruit and vegetables are also welcome. All right, let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. As our coverage of the 2017 fall postseason continued on yesterday, the final of the 4 quarterfinal matches in girls volleyball for the FCIAC tournament. Number 3, Ridgefield hosting number 6, Staples. What a game it was. The only match that went the full 5 sets. The first set taking 58 points before Ridgefield would finally win 30-28. They would build a 2-0 lead, see it slip away, and finally be able to come back and close it out in the 5th as they will advance to tonight's semifinals. Let's look back at the highlights yesterday from the gym at Ridgefield.
You knew this game was going to be close, not this close. Wow. Man.
Trollstra to serve. Jagenberg in as Ang to the bench. Colonel on the outside, powered through that time, too strong.
Yeah, she timed that perfectly. Able to get enough power through that shot to get it by the front line, the Staples Wreckers.
Only fitting Colonel gets an opportunity to serve here. And that's the way the set will end. Miscommunication on the back line, and Ridgefield leads 1-0, 30-28 the final in the first game. Alfaro serving. Wanaka for the win, and it is 2-0 Tigers. Jagenberg's shot couldn't have been controlled by Condren, and now it is set point at 24-9. Wreckers will have 14 chances at this one.
That's not bad to have. They get Vanessa Ang, who's been brilliant.
Far side, Condren. Too far, and we're going to the fourth. 25-9, a dominating third set from Staples.
How about that? Staples 1 point away.
Alfaro serving for the set. Wanaka. Block still alive. This one's got to go over. It falls. We're going to the fifth.
Wow. How about these Wreckers?
Colonel for the match. Jagenberg. Block! Tigers win! So Ridgefield now advances. We'll play at 7 o'clock tonight at Fairfield Ludlow. They take on the number 2 Greenwich Cardinals. Our first semifinal matchup will feature number 5 Danbury and number 1 St. Joe's. St. Joe's also advanced to the championship yesterday in girls soccer, a 5-1 victory over Fairfield Ward. In the other semifinal, it was Staples defeating the Ridgefield Tigers 1-0. Tonight, a lot going on in the FCAC. Wilton, Darien, the field hockey championship. 2 semifinals from Fairfield Ludlow for girls volleyball. St. Joe's and Danbury first, followed by Ridgefield and Greenwich in the second game. And we've also got the FCAC championship boys soccer, Trumbull and Greenwich. That game at 7 o'clock. You can see both volleyball matchups and the boys soccer championship on the HAN network. We'll have more on that, though, via our Twitter and Facebook feed, so follow along. That'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports Update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, John Kovach joins me to preview our front pages this week after this.
Yeah, Dad.
Kyle, I need you to update the financial statements.
I took care of that yesterday, Dad.
Mac, I need you to get those deals approved.
They're all done, Mr. Miller.
Jeff, I need you to order lunch for the meeting. They can't do a thing without me.
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
I'm never going to retire.
Bankwell combines the best personalized service with high-tech banking features for our customers' convenience. We pride ourselves on being a strong community partner. You don't settle for average in anything else you do. Why settle for an average bank? Don't just bank when you can bank well instead. Visit mybankwell.com for more. Manfredi New Canaan is celebrating 3 exceptional years selling Rolex watches and fine jewelry to the Fairfield County community. We appreciate all our loyal clients and look forward to welcoming and helping you discover the perfect gift to celebrate life's most important occasions.
At In Sports Trumbull, the game is always on inside.
Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The In Sports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
Welcome back to this Thursday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm joined now by John Kovach, our editorial director, to preview our front pages this week. And John, it's really all about elections.
All about elections, except Reading had some shocking breaking news. Yeah. The police chief there placed on administrative leave a story that came to light in a lawsuit filed recently where a man attempted suicide, was found, and the family says was still alive, but help was not allowed to get near him. We'll be following that story as it unfolds. Election coverage, including some candidates who are not happy that a candidate who didn't get endorsed and then lost the primary was able to get onto the ballot at the last minute. Some Halloween pictures and a cemetery tour. We talked a lot about that on Tuesday. All right, taking a look at the Weston Forum this week, of course, a big pre-election story, everything you need to know about that upcoming municipal election. Also, more on storm cleanup. As you know, areas like Weston, Wilton, Ridgefield really hit hard, so some photos there of downed wires. Also, a new documentary made by a Weston resident kind of covers the presidential election last year, so more on that in this week's Weston Forum. Darien students setting high marks on standardized tests. The vote on a parks master plan delayed until 2018. Halloween celebrated at the Holly Pond School. The state budget finally passing, and storm cleanup, which a lot of our towns had to deal with this week. All that in the Darien Times. All right, I'm taking a look at the Ridgefield Press now. Now, there is no race in Ridgefield for the top of the ticket, but the town election will fill seats on 6 boards. So there's still a lot of interesting races in Ridgefield, but not a year for the first selectman to run for re-election. Ridgefield hit very hard by the storm. There were some residents on Shadow Lake Lane that couldn't get out for a couple of days because of all the downed wires, and crews working elsewhere in the state. And Opiate Forum talking about solving this crisis and that it won't be easy. Also, car thefts on the rise, and cops suspect that a Waterbury gang is behind it. There'll be an election for members of the Region 9 Board of Education in Easton. They oversee Joel Barlow High School. Some Halloween shots, a dispute between a developer and the town engineer, and story about the storm bringing a tree down on a Sport Hill Road residence. All right, taking a look at the New Canaan Advertiser this week. Of course, more pre-election coverage, as well as more on Congressman Jim Himes speaking at DTC headquarters recently. Just a great photo by Dave Stewart from the homecoming game, New Canaan High School's homecoming game. I really love that one. And of course, the state budget not as bad as many towns feared this year. The cuts will not be as deep. So more on how that will affect New Canaan. And of course, some coverage on the October storm that wreaked some havoc. Halloween leads the Stratford Star, in addition to news that Stratford police will now carry Narcan. The town and the owner of a car wash that is near Stratford High, where major work is planned, are reaching a settlement on some pending litigation. A state grant, which could involve James Farms Road property that's been the subject of proposals for several years, and the story of a Milford auto repair shop owner who was towing cars and making the owners pay to retrieve them. Not good. All right, taking a look at the Monroe Courier this week. Just a couple of important reminders, actually, that the Monroe Courier made me think of. Of course, we will fall back, turn back the clocks an hour on Sunday at 2 a.m. And Veterans Day closings, at least in Monroe, town hall offices and the library will be closed on Friday, November 10th, so good reminder there. Also, an interesting race for first selectman in Monroe. It's a 3-way race. There's no incumbent this year, so full coverage on that as well. And a return to Massac brings author full circle. Great shot on the Shelton Herald of just the joy on the football field as Jared Witkowski hugs assistant coach Justin Stanko. Jared had lived every defensive lineman's dream and stripped a ball from a running back and returned it 60 yards for a touchdown as Shelton beat previously unbeaten West Haven. Big controversy in Shelton. There is a club going in. They say it's burlesque themed, but not a quote-unquote strip club. There's a lot going on there. Keep an eye on the Shelton Herald website for updates on that. Halloween and the awful story about the sewage spill in the Housatonic River, that spilled into the Naugatuck River and then washed up in the Housatonic. Just a awful scene down at the Sunnyside boat ramp.
Yes. All right. Well, taking a look at the Trumbull Times this week, we have some photos from Booth Hill students' Trunk or Treat event on October 27th. Also, candidates making their final pitch. Trumbull leaping into the tech world. The school board preparing for some new moves there. And, of course, the Trumbull High School Golden Eagle Marching Band preparing for Thanksgiving. They actually found out a couple years ago that they would be marching in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So they're preparing for that now. And Trumbull Police Officer Tim Fedor honored by the U.S. Attorney for Connecticut.
We can make our first projection of the 2017 election, and that is that Milford Mayor Ben Blake, who is running unopposed, appears very likely to win re-election in Milford. The election leading the Milford Mirror. Story about a principal who wrote a book about her experiences when her twins were prematurely born. The Grillo family trying to develop some property in Milford, want fewer affordable units. Milford will hold its Veterans Day Parade on Sunday, November 5th, and the city is looking at a tour to promote it as a destination.
All right, taking a look at the Wilton Bulletin this week, some major disruptions caused by the storm, of course, coverage on Election Day. Fear follows a recent hate message. Middlebrook school students were afraid to go to school on Friday. Someone in early to post messages of goodwill and support near a student who found a hate message posted on their locker. And you know, John, we should mention as well, we're talking about all this pre-election coverage, but we will be live also on election night with the coverage and analysis from all of our local towns in southwestern Connecticut.
We'll be getting the results from our reporters who will be in the field. They'll be talking to the candidates. We'll have winners and losers on the phone, and we'll have the results as they're being posted in each town. And just before I forget, the arts and leisure section, keeping it simple, things that you can do with oatmeal, and a story about art by a Syrian artist that is being featured at Greenwich Academy.
All right, so those are our front pages this week. Be sure to pick up your copy, especially getting ready for the elections. Just a lot of great information in there.
A lot of the voters' guides are in there.
All right, so no Yankee Fisherman today.
No Yankee Fisherman. We have a volleyball doubleheader. I will be on the call with Frank Granito at that. We also have the boys soccer championship game, and Kevin Coleman and Tim Murphy will be on a call with that.
Yeah, so it's going to be a busy night and then a busy weekend, so be sure to check HAN.network for our full schedule. We won't be here for your coffee break tomorrow, but we will see you Monday at 11 with the latest local news. Have a great day.